The opinions expressed by the 1.5 doctors on this podcast are for entertainment purposes only. They are not meant to treat or diagnose. If you have a serious condition, seek medical attention immediately.
No. There's been a mistake, you see.
Excuse me, what Dr. Lee is trying to say is that we need to sedate the patient or he could go into cardiac arrest.
All right, I'll get the anesthesiologist.
Hang on a second, nurse. What we should probably use is marijuana. That'll sufficiently sedate the patient for surgery.
Marijuana? But why?
We don't have time for questions. We need marijuana now, as much of it as possible. Like a big bag of it.
But doctor, we don't have marijuana in this hospital.
Dr. Stephen Ogden, Dr. VJ Theory. Clinical Muscle starts now.
Great Scott!
The doctors are in. You are listening to Clinical Muscle on Advices Radio Network. I'm your host, Dr. VJ Pieri. Along with me, as always, the star of this production, Dr. Stephen Ogden. Doc, how you doing? You're back.
Yeah, I'm back.
It's okay. Let's give a little bit of context here. So this is the Sunday, a week removed from the Arnold weekend, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And you guys already had a weekend home, right?
Yep. Yeah. So the biggest thing was about the Arnold weekend was that, we get to go hang out with our friends that we get to see fucking once a year, right?
Or every other year.
Or every other year. And it just so happened that Doc came down with a pretty terrible illness a couple of days out from the Arnold. And he wasn't able to make the podcast, the live podcast, wasn't make the Arnold at all. It was actually pretty bad, man. He wasn't feeling very good at all. So Doc, just give us a quick rundown. What happened?
Well, yeah, man. I just feeling normal. Long story short, basically, I mean, I ended up in the hospital, which was unbelievable because I was thinking, the worst time that could happen. But so Tuesday before the Arnold weekend, I woke up. I felt fine. I was driving my car, taking my son to school, and I just got this really sharp pain in my stomach. It's just a quick, like across the front of my stomach. I didn't think anything of it, and maybe within like 10, 15 minutes later, I started getting like really bad cramps in my stomach. Like I can't even explain it. Like my abs were tightening up,
right?
But it was internal. And then I was like, what the fuck and I didn't even eat yet. That was the thing. So I was like, it's not my breakfast because I didn't even eat yet. Long story short, me and Christine, I was off that day, funny. This is funny. We went to the mall because I was going to get a couple new shirts to bring to the Arnold with me.
Oh, jeez.
And when we got down there, man, my stomach, the pain just got worse and worse. I couldn't even walk around. I started feeling weak. I was breaking out in sweats.
Oh man.
Yeah. So she took me home, and I came home on Tuesday. And then within 4 or 5 hours, I just started puking my brains out. So I'm thinking, okay, I got a stomach virus, right? I mean, this is going to go away. I'm going to be fine by Friday. I'm going to be good. Next 2 days, man, it just continued to progress, and then my stomach was basically swelling up, like it looked like I was pregnant, and at that point, and I'm sleeping. I slept for like 48 hours straight because every time I didn't even want to think about it. So the only time I couldn't feel my pain was when you feel the discomfort was when I would sleep. So I just wanted to sleep. So I was sleeping on the couch for like 2 days straight, and then, long story short, Wednesday night, I was thinking to myself, this isn't a stomach virus. I'm starting to get nervous because the last time I had something that lingered this long was when I had my bowel rupture, and 15 years ago, and I ended up with the perforated diverticulitis. So back then I had a perforated diverticulitis that resulted in abscesses throughout my bowel, in my insides. I got septic. I had a liver abscess. Ended up with a colostomy bag that I had to wear for 5 months, and finally I got that taken down and back to normal for the last 15 years. And then this happened. So
scary, yeah.
Wednesday I'm telling Christine, this is going to get better. I got to go. I got to go to the Arnold. So I'm like, I'm going to ride this out. It's going to get better. I was really weak. I was really sick. I hadn't eaten. I was sipping on Gatorade for like 24 hours, the whole 2 days, which turned out to be like the worst thing I could have been doing because nothing was going through me. It was just filling me up like a fucking balloon. Long story short, Wednesday I was like, if this is going by Friday, I'm still going. I can't cancel. And funny thing is, I told you guys, and I heard on I think Scott said something, and Skip was fucking with me on Facebook. Like, you didn't have to be so dramatic. If you didn't want to come, you just didn't have to come. And the funny thing was, when I was getting sick, I was thinking to myself, these motherfuckers are going to think I'm faking. like, because this is the worst time.
It's just the most inconvenient timing, you know. So,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I can't believe it. I was holding off. Long story short, dude, I woke up Thursday morning and Christine was like, "Yo, you got to go.
Yeah.
You look fucking bad."
Yeah,
so
man,
we went.
I told you on Thursday. I was like, "Dude, you got to go get it checked out. I don't know what this is. I don't know if you're making it up. I don't care, but don't take a chance. You know."
Right. Yeah. So I went to the ER, and within 20, maybe an hour, I was in there. They pulled blood and they got a CAT scan. The guy comes back and he's like, "Dude," he's like, "I got bad news. You got to stay. You probably need surgery." I said, "Why?" He's like, "You got a bowel obstruction." So they put, then that's when all the fun start. Within 5 minutes, they put the NG tube. That's a nasogastric tube for anyone who's not familiar. That's a tube that goes through your fucking nose, and it's a thick tube about the size of your pinky. And they shove that bitch down through your nasal turbinates into your esophagus and then into your stomach, and it acts as a vacuum, and it just sucks everything back out the other way.
Wow.
So immediately my relief, I got, as soon as it started, and they pulled like 4 liters of fluid out of my stomach as soon as they stuck it down.
They put you under though for that, right?
The fuck no.
No?
They made me drink water and said swallow hard. They shoved that bad boy down there. Nope. No, it's fucking uncomfortable. No, you're wide awake. You got to be awake because there's a certain way you have to do it. You have to put chin to chest.
Oh, shit.
And you have to have the patient swallow real hard, keep swallowing. You give them water to drink, and you just have them drink real hard, and you just grin and bear it, and then it goes in the right spot.
How do you drink anything when you've got a tube going down your nose into your guts?
It's weird, but that's what you got to do. They're shoving it in, and you're swallowing, because you want to make sure that you direct it properly with the epiglottis, right? Because if you don't swallow, it'll go into your trachea if the epiglottis is open during breathing.
Right, goes into your lungs instead.
Yeah, and then that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing. So got that in, and that was it, man. And then, IVs went in, fluids went in, and that's how I stayed for the next 3-4 days. And, I was just praying that I didn't need surgery. So the thing about small bowel obstructions is there's a few different, there's a few different presentations. You can have a segment that's a small segment where it's just narrowed and it got blocked up for every reason. I'll explain why they think mine happened. Or you could have what's called a closed loop obstruction, which basically means your bowel turned on itself. And those kind are less likely to reverse with conservative measures, basically an NG tube, sucking everything out.
Oh, no, that's a go in and untwist it.
And that's what the original CAT scan from the radiologist said, highly suspicious for closed loop obstruction, and that's when the surgeon, the ER doc, was like, "Bro, I think you're gonna need surgery."
Oh wow! So
I was freaking out at that point because I just bought this house. We're living in this townhouse. I can't really afford not to work. Because a surgery like that, a small bowel, a small bowel surgery, to go in and reverse, it's going to be a pretty big surgery, and you're talking probably 4 to 6 weeks of recovery.
For sure. Yeah, that's not a day surgery. That's not a walk in, walk out kind of thing. Jeez.
No, they probably would have sliced me right down the middle,
right open. Right, they had to get in, man. They got to get in and untwist.
Yep. So, long story short, I got good news that night. The ER resident came in. And she said her and my doctor, who was my doctor the first time because I requested him, he did my surgery, 15 years ago. They were like, "This isn't a small bowel. And they checked my belly and they were like, you look really good for someone who you're really sick, but you physically look really good, So they're like, so long story short, over the next couple of days, things kind of started to clear up. Had the tube in for 4 days, lost fucking 14 pounds.
Jeez.
Went in at like 213, came in at like whatever it was. When I came home, I was like 198.
Yeah, good. You were my size when you walked out of there.
But it's already coming back. A lot of that's just glycogen and fluid.
Water.
I didn't eat. So anyway, long story short is I got better. And I started passing gas at like 3:30.
Good. You're farting now. You're still farting now, right? You got some big ones?
Yeah. Everything's back to everything's moving good. I'm back to normal.
Good. Thank God.
So long story short, what they think happened, and this is one of those things where I guess we always talk about too much of anything is not a good thing, right?
Sure.
In general. So I ate tons of vegetables. So my fiber in my diet is probably astronomical. I mean, that's all I eat, and I was dieting a little bit recently. And when I diet, I eat vegetables.
Lots of vegetables. Yeah. You're probably getting like 80 to 100 grams of fiber a day. And it's the insoluble kind too.
And it's probably disgusting, but I'm gassy as hell all the time when I'm like that, and I do feel bloated a lot.
Sure.
By like my third or fourth meal. And they said that my bowel wall was very inflamed. And so what happened was I had this, normal size bowel on, this segment. And then there was a little segment that was narrowed from scar tissue from all the surgeries I've had. And they think inside so it had a little wrap of an adhesive band around it, and it's still there. But they said it looks like the inside of my bowel wall got inflamed. And just like a heart attack with a narrowed vessel, if something blocks it off or inflames it, or in a case of a heart attack, a platelet plug or whatever, if the blood flow normally gets through, it's going to be fine. Same with the bowel. Normally everything was moving through. That segment was a bit small enough, but still wide enough for poop to go through and gas to go through and not really bother me. But because it was so inflamed, the inflammation on the inside narrowed it completely shut. So,
right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And they think that's from my diet. They think I'm probably walking around with tons of chronic inflammation in my bowel from too much fiber, to be honest, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because my diverticulitis, when you read about diverticuli, you're going to read eat a high fiber diet because people who develop that are from eating a low fiber diet. So now I'm kind of all fucked up because, first of all, I don't eat a lot of carbs, in general, because I'm an endomorph, and I know that if I eat too many carbs, I'll fucking just turn into fat. I'm a fat making machine,
and fat is the same way with you, right? If you increase your fat intake, the same thing happens, right?
Yes. I mean, my body responds to protein and vegetables, basically. I mean, that's to get lean, to that's I am. I mean, I've been like that. I'm an endo, I'm a fat kid, So now I have to be on a low fiber diet, which is basically all the shit I haven't eaten since I was a fat kid. White stuff. I mean, I do eat white rice here and there, but I haven't had white potatoes in a long time.
Yeah.
I don't eat white bread. I don't eat white. I mean, I eat Captain Crunch if I have, I'll eat Captain Crunch. That's white. But
you're safe with Captain. You're safe with the Captain because there's zero. I think there's negative fiber in that.
Exactly. And the thing is, all that bad stuff, all the stuff, sugar reasons, white stuff, all that is all the stuff I don't eat.
Is all the stuff you're supposed to eat now, right?
Right. Now I'm to the point where I have to. I mean, unless I just want to eat meat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not good either, because that can cause an obstruction also.
Exactly, and they didn't want they want me to cut my protein down too. I don't know what the theory is. I mean, I think I know, but
it's probably smart just to a small degree, but not what they're thinking. They're thinking
right.
Cut it out altogether. You don't need.
No, I'm not. I've been
that's
doing that.
That's medical professionals. They don't know jack shit. Right?
So now what I've been doing was just trying to, like, I've been keeping. Like having maybe like a half a cup of basmati rice with my meals and nothing else. And then maybe have like a half a serving of like noodles or something as my carb with my meat. And then eggs. That's pretty much what I've been doing.
How does your guts take that?
Well, that's the thing, Pete. That's the funny thing. I do know. I've always noticed. Okay, let's talk about your McDonald's thing. Your And I'm not just saying this because you're my friend and that's your thing. That's sort of your stick. When I when I eat shit food when I eat McDonald's, which I don't eat a lot, but when I do, that shit clears my bowel in no time. I digest it perfectly fine.
Me too.
Yeah. As opposed to when I'm on my fifth meal of my fourth bag of vegetables with chicken,
right.
My stomach's sticking out like a fucking old man belly, and I'm farting every 5 minutes. Which in retrospect for me now is telling me that. You know what? We're always talking about digestive health and all this stuff. Obviously I probably wasn't even digesting my food properly with that type of diet, but I just didn't know. I don't know any better because that's always what I've done.
Right.
So now I got to just rethink everything and think about different goals in life, to be honest. I don't know.
I mean, it's interesting. Us as bodybuilders and health professionals, all we think about is, lean protein sources and dense vegetables, to help keep the bowels moving. That's a staple. That's been a staple for like 100 years, right? The thing is, people don't get it, and they will eventually, but any food, not just vegetables, but I mean, be cognizant of vegetables too, because a lot of people will eat things like broccoli or Brussels sprouts, and they'll have just the worst stomach pains and then terrible gas, and then people think that, oh, I just need to get used to it. My body just needs to get used to it. No, you'll never get used to it. It's
right.
It's a fiber type that your guts are having a trouble breaking down, and so they're causing problems for you, bloating, distress. Yeah. And this is just an offshoot. This is like a side note because this has happened to you. But the thing is you got to read your body, your own biofeedback with foods. You got to learn how your body tolerates these foods. Are you getting distended? Are you getting gassy? If you're not feeling good, can you train on it good? It's like with the McDonald's. Yeah, it's not the best food in the world. It's probably poisoned, but it digests pretty good.
Yeah,
and
it
doesn't give you distress, and that's a huge thing.
Yep, and I've always known that. Like even like how many? Let's just say even all the bad stuff, like even like cereal, for instance.
Yeah.
Right? Like kid cereal.
Yeah.
How many? I can eat a whole box of that, and my stomach will stay flat, and it'll be gone in no time.
Yeah, I mean my stomach will be out, like pregnant because I ate the fucking whole box and a gallon of milk.
It won't stay like that.
Yeah, a couple of hours done.
So that's the kind of thing where I'm like. So now I'm in like a pickle because so basically what I'm going to try to do is, I guess I'm just going to follow this diet until, he gives me the clear, so I don't have to eat like this forever. He said 3 weeks of no fiber, basically, or super low fiber. He don't want me eating anything that's, you would think of that has fiber in it. Of course, a lot of stuff has a little bit of fiber in it, but
a little bit.
He doesn't want me eating anything, vegetables, fruits. He doesn't want me eating any of that for 3 weeks. To let the guts just sort of rest and the inflammation go down.
I mean, I think that's a fair analysis. That's a good place to start. Eliminate all variables. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's the last thing he said to me when I left. He said, "You need to cut that." So I can't believe I'm telling this, but you need to cut back on your vegetables. He's like, I'm usually trying to push people to eat vegetables, and you're really overeating them.
Yeah.
So I guess I could never be a vegetarian or something because it would kill me, I guess.
Well, you just have to choose your vegetables better, I think, Doc.
Well,
do you eat a lot of broccoli? Because broccoli kills folks.
That's my main source.
That kills people, dude.
Broccoli and green beans, and the steamer bags of green beans, like the petite, fresh, them ones there. If you ever use them, they never get really tender.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, to me,
they don't get soggy and limp. They just
right,
kind
of
hard.
Like a canned green bean is always like really squishy and soft.
Yeah.
So that's the other part of it is the cooking of your vegetables, how cooked they are.
Yeah.
And mine are always kind of a little crunchy and not, you know what I mean? So
yeah, you got to make them soggy a lot of the times,
I think my new goal in life is I'm just going to be back to being a fat kid. I'm 46. I don't care.
It's time, right? It's time.
I'm going to start drinking heavily and smoking cigarettes and
and your bowels will be just fine. Watch.
And my guts will be fine. Yeah. So anyway, long story short is I'm doing better now.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I went back in the gym so I got out Sunday and I tried to go to the gym on Monday and I think it was Monday morning. I texted Scott. You were on there too, and Scott said, "Yeah, like he was right. He's like training's going to suck for a while, dude. I couldn't even. This is how weak I was. I looked in the mirror and I looked like a shriveled up old man.
Oh man,
I was so depressed, dude. I was like, fuck, this is crazy how much I lost that quick.
At 198, you look like a shriveled up old man.
Yeah, I looked skinny. Like everyone was coming up to me like. And we're like, are you, man, you lost weight quick. Are you doing something? Are you trying to go? Are you sick? Are you doing a show? I'm like,
you dieting,
no,
bro?
I almost died. Yeah, this is called medically forced dieting.
Life. Yeah.
Dude, I honestly, this is not even exaggerating. I could barely pick up 40-pound dumbbells.
Man. Yeah, you're just so sick, so
heavy.
Depleted. I mean, you're at the bottom end of. You're almost dead. It's not a good place to be. It's probably
that is amazing how fast you lose that with no nutrition. I was seriously. I did like 2 exercises and I was like dripping in sweat, looking at Christine like, this fucking sucks. Like I can't believe maybe I shouldn't have.
Like even your cardiovascular was affected.
Yeah, man, just weak. Yeah. Like I'm looking at myself. So long story short. By Thursday, I was feeling pretty good again. So
yeah, your anaerobic pathways and your aerobic pathways both get knocked off kilter with any kind of ailment like that, and you had a bad one. So
So yeah, that's crazy. So I'm feeling good now. Everything's moving. My weight's back up to like 204, which is good.
Mhm.
And then I just got to follow up my doctor and just try not to. So what I think I'm going to do in the long run is I think I'm going to still limit my vegetables, but we talked about this a little bit. I'm considering maybe doing a greens drink, and then
yes,
as things progress, just instead of eating tons of fiber, I may just do a fiber drink in the morning, and maybe even like a half a serving, because apparently it doesn't seem like my bowels need much fiber because first of all, I don't have a colon.
Right.
So it doesn't take much to make me shit. Most of my poops are like liquid anyway.
Yeah.
Because remember, I don't absorb water. I don't absorb the water good because I don't have a colon, right? So things go through me pretty easy.
And for listeners, the reason why you have hard poos is your colon, your descending colon, essentially. You get the water gets all sucked back out of the colon from the poop. And then that's what kind of dries up the poop, so it kind of turns solid a little bit.
Wraps it up into a nice package of
nice
turd.
package for delivery.
Salt and water goes out. Yep.
But Doc doesn't have that, and neither does the mountain dog. So you can imagine what their poos are like, right?
Yeah, and I would expect it'd be. I probably never get the chance to, but it would be cool to talk to him about if he's ever had any issues, because we had a completely different problem, as far as what caused. But we've both had the same type of surgery in the long run. Like his problem needed the same, right? Which that would put John at risk for bowel obstructions too, because I'm sure he's got adhesions like I do. It's just inevitable. Whenever they open you up, and they fuck around with your bowel and they start cutting in there, just like you're getting cut on the outside, you're going to scar up. That's what happens. And that was the reasoning for wanting to wait 3 or 4 days to see if this thing cleared itself, because they're like, look, the more we open you, we fix it. Now you develop more adhesions, and then we got, could happen again later. So we want to keep that's the goal. That's why in the management of small bowel obstruction, conservative measures with NG tube, nothing by mouth, and just IV fluids and bowel rest is the gold standard. I mean, unless someone's like, ischemic on the CAT scan and their bowel's dying, then you got to go take it in, take it out. Because the more they open you up, the more scars you get, the more risk for hernias you get, which can also cause bowel obstructions. It's just a bad thing. So
it's interesting because I'm trying to I'm going like the Rolodex of diets that I've memorized and in my head, and I'm going over like some of like the old mountain dog ones, the stuff that he just posted on Instagram and stuff, And if you notice, if there's a trend, he doesn't eat a ton of vegetables. There's not a lot of vegetables on him. There's fucking pancakes and stuff on there,
Yeah, I'm going to have to pay attention to that. You might be right. There may be a reason why he doesn't do that.
Yeah,
maybe
I think he just found it naturally. That's what helps his guts out. So he doesn't eat a ton of vegetables, I don't think. I mean, I could be wrong, but from what I've read in the past of his own personal diet, not the ones that he writes for people, but his own, like the stuff that he would diet on and stuff and eat like regularly. There's not a lot of vegetables in there. Yeah.
So there you go. That's probably why, because he probably has the same sort of issues I have with it.
Yeah. So you can do pretty well here, Doc. I mean, you can actually transform your body here pretty good with with the right supplementation too. Controlling your blood sugars with the rice and the potato and the white bread. Some protein sources, lean protein sources, and then watch your blood sugars. That's the number one thing. Once they start to rise, that. I would get your hands on some, like a small dose of metformin.
Well, I you know what? I'm a bad patient. I did take metformin for like a long time, and then I didn't refill my prescription. So
yeah.
I might have to do that again.
Yeah. Now that you'll be eating more simple carbs, I think it's a really wise idea for you. And also to take your EFAs, that's because that'll for guys like you that don't have colon and you can't use the fiber anyways. You could still use soluble fiber, so like a Metamucil will still be okay for you. Not right now, but work it back in.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do.
Yeah, but otherwise,
it's not just about the bowel health too. I mean, it's about fiber's good for other stuff. Your lipids, stuff. That's what concerns me.
You've got your micronutrition, you've got your nanonutrition, the phytonutrition from the vegetables. There's more than just the fiber there. That's
right. Yeah. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now.
I think a green drink is a great idea. TrueNutrition.com, and you can use the Advices code, which is, I think, Advices, right?
Yeah. Scott was telling me that's doing pretty good. So guys, keep using that code, helping out the site, helping True Nutrition and, supporting the sponsors.
And they have a green drink. I bought it from them. I got to tell you. Yeah, I mean, it's a good green drink, and most green drinks are going to be like pretty much devoid of fiber anyways.
Yeah, that's what you were telling me.
But
I've never used one because I don't. It's not like I need more vegetables.
Right, yeah, you're good. You were topped off. You had plenty. But all the phytonutrients are still in there. All the micronutrients are still in there. So that's pretty cool. The one that Dante has from True Nutrition is really good. It tastes god awful. It tastes like you took a bite of your own lawn.
Like grass clippings.
Yeah, but it tastes, like the quality is fantastic, right? It's the best in the end, gold standard,
right.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting what you're supposed to be getting. Is what the point is. Yeah, so that's fine.
Yeah.
So so that's enough about my colon and bowel situation. I'm not dead, thank God. And I did, I was honestly a little depressed because I was really looking forward to seeing you guys. And then I saw Scott. I'm laying in the hospital with the fucking tube in my nose, and Scott's fucking Insta live in or whatever the fuck, Instagram and live. Yeah. You guys all sitting there, chopping it up and doing the live show. And I see Skip and I see Dr. Scott and I see the Delphs and you and all these people. And then fucking Carl
Austin. Carl Lenore came up to replace you. I was like, oh dang, I think you could replace all of us. How about that?
I don't think that's not a replacement. That's like a fucking upgrade.
That's a hell of an upgrade. I love you to death, but I mean that is the godfather of podcasting, right?
I mean,
you know what I mean? I mean, shit, he could have taken my spot. I would have gladly offered up my spot.
He probably could have the podcast by itself.
I'll go sit in the audience. I'll ask questions from there, yell at you guys, make fun of you.
Hey, well, thank God that I wasn't there and had that problem and tried to suck it up anyway, because I might have been like Skip and eating all them fucking bars.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you would have been hospitalized for sure. I'm surprised he wasn't hospitalized,
He's fucking munching on. They're like 30 grams of fiber piece.
Yeah, I think he ate like 40 grams of fiber.
His belly was fucking bloated
in one day. Farting around the expo.
It looked like so much fun. I was looking forward. I know this is gay, but oh, well, whatever. Don't even take offense to that. That means funny.
Yeah.
When I grew up, that wasn't an offensive term. Okay.
Yeah. You grew up with Archie Bunker and All in the Family. All right.
Yeah. Like
stuff was funny back then. You could be racist and biased in one way or another.
Right. So anyway, this is for me. Like one of the things I did was I was all excited because I wanted to get some T-shirts because last year I got Chrissy some T-shirts from there, and she fucking the material. Remember the pink one Scott had that I think he ruined like the day he had it? He got blood on it or something.
Yeah, right.
He cut himself or something happened. I don't know. Them thin T-shirts. Christy loves that pink one. I was going to get her a couple more, and she was excited about it. Fuck, man, my bowels didn't cooperate. So yeah, honestly, I knew when I texted you guys. I was dreading doing that, by the way, because like these motherfuckers.
They're going to think the worst of me.
They're going to think I'm faking. And I'm like, I wish I was faking. Like, I totally wish I was, but I didn't. No. I wasn't faking.
No, I know.
That tooth does not feel good going down. I could hear my nasal turbinates crunching as it passed through, like,
oh, man,
like it was breaking.
And then you got any swelling or anything in your nose after that? Or
no, I feel fine now, but immediately within like 45 minutes that tube being in, you just got just a terrible sore throat, and it's like that till it comes out.
Yeah, gosh, that's miserable, man. That's
miserable. You know how you feel. You get post-nasal drip. You feel like something's always there.
Yep.
You can feel that tube down in the back of your throat. It's always there. It's like you can't get rid of it. It's fucked up. It's a fucked up feeling.
Oh, Yeah, I can't imagine like having something in your throat like that, just forcing it down like that, and trying to breathe and be comfortable. It's the most miserable thing I can think of. I'd be like, you know what? Just take it up the ass. You know what? Just put it on the ass. Just
suck it out the other way.
I won't take any anesthesia or nothing. Just stick it up there. I don't want anything in my nose. Yeah.
And then trying to sleep with it, you got this heavy. It's heavy. It's kind of, and then it's hooked to a suction, right?
Oh,
so you got to be real careful. You don't fucking catch it on the bed rail and pull the bitch right out of your nose, or because then they got to put it back down again.
What a mess! Oh God.
And then you got the IV. IV tubing, and they get entangled together, and it's all fucked up. It was just fucked up.
Oh my God! You had a miserable time, man. You had a miserable
you guys
time.
are out there hamming it up.
We're having a great
going
time.
Backstage with fucking Luke. I'm watching that while I'm in the hospital. Your fucking Luke comes off this. That was the fucking dude. That video with you talking to Luke was awesome because your reaction. So I watched it on the live stream on my phone at the hospital. When they compared him to Cedric, I said, fucking Luke
Yeah.
just beat Cedric.
Yeah, that's what I said in my head. I was screaming it in my head. I was like, "Oh my god, he did it! He did it!"
I was thinking the same thing because he's always talking about on the size game. I don't know what they have a big. He has something with the Kuklo thing. He always wants to beat Steve Kuklo. I don't know why.
Well, he did. It was
Well, he did, but you know, when the way you said that to him, that's exactly how you're like. He's like, fucking Cedric McMillan, and
Yeah.
you're like, and you beat him convincingly, and I
Yeah.
was like, holy shit, bro, that dude, he just beat like one of the guys, like he's one of the
he
guys.
just took out a legend. A legend.
Yes. One-on-one, mano y
this
mano,
rookie, you
fucking
know?
straight beat him. That is fucking cool, isn't it? Like, I don't know how that would feel. Like,
I had
that's-
goosebumps. I had goosebumps for him, man. I told him that.
Dude,
I remember.
I don't even know him that good. I met him the one time and listened to him forever. We've had chats with him on Instagram here and there, but he's just an awesome, cool dude
He's a cool
who's
dude,
fucking
man.
worked hard. He's got great genetics and he fucking makes the most of them because he puts in that hard fucking work. And, you hear him talk about these things over the last 3-4 years on the podcast about, as he was just coming up, talking about, I want to turn pro. And I want to win a pro show. And then, he went through the whole thing with diuretics with Aceto, and then they broke up and this and that. Now he's back together, and then you're fucking looking at him, and we met him that one time in the other Arnold. We were all together, and he was super cool. It's a guy you root for, right?
Oh, for sure.
And then he fucking beat Cedric McMillan. You're like, that's fucking crazy. Like that would blow my mind if I was him.
Yeah, man, he beat some great bodybuilders. And you know what? When they were comparing him and Bonnick together, I was like, wow, he's got Bonnick in a few shots here too. Like that was like he was close. That like you could have flipped a coin and like given him second or third. I think.
Yeah, but good. Fucking Brandon looked good.
Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah,
you would have seen like. It's different when you see it in person and you see the guys like open up and stuff.
Last time I was there with you guys, it's fucking mind blowing.
Like you would have been like your jaw would have dropped the second Brandon came out too and hit that front double like the rest of us. Like what is that? Give him the win.
I can't remember who won in 2016 when we were there. Who won it that year? That's the last year Dallas did it, and then he.
Gosh, I'm trying to think. I'm going back to the first year that Scott and I went. I think it was Kai that won that year, and Cedric took second. Then the year after that, Cedric won. And that may have been it, right?
Was that the year that Cedric won when we? Yeah, I think it was. Oh, I forget. Anyway, yeah, that was pretty cool. That video, you guys fucking backstage, that's fucking awesome. You guys had to fucking hook up.
Oh, we did. Yeah, we got to thank Mike Davies again. And we can't thank him and Sarah enough, man. Guys, they really took care of us,
They strapped it up big time, bro.
They do. I don't know what I got to do to repay that debt, but I'll do it, whatever it is. New picks. Maintenance guy, whatever you need.
I would say get him a McDonald's gift card, but I know that he'd probably hate you for that.
I got them. We got them some gift cards to a place there. I don't even remember the place. It's a place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just up the road from their gym in Worthington, and it's like a steakhouse of some kind. I've never heard of it before, but I was like, listen, you got to tell me where you want to eat, otherwise you're getting a McDonald's gift card whether you like it or not. So tell me a place you actually will go. Otherwise, you're getting McDonald's. So I forced their hand,
Yeah, so awesome. So sad I missed it. I mean, I'd have loved to have been there with everybody.
I know, man. I know. It would have been great. That was the missing link, really was. That would have really completed everything for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, all these people that I haven't met,
Yeah.
And then there's some people that were there that that I've met before, and I'm, online and at the last Arnold I was at, and it'd been cool to see them again and this and that. But
catching up
whatever.
with people, and
it
catching
is
up
what
with
it is.
listeners, and catching up with bodybuilders. Jeez, man, it's a good time. So
yeah, I'm alive, and
you're alive.
At least I didn't have to have surgery, and I'm fucking fine, and my family's
fine. They didn't have to fucking fillet you open, so that's good.
I was worried about that. So what's going on with you? What's new with you? We haven't talked in a while. I'm sure there's some kind of update of your life. Something changing or anything like that.
Man, I'm living the dream, man. I'm just sitting over here retired, So I'm just I'm still in recovery. You know what I mean? Last year was a real hard year. Like I lost half of my hair from the stress and stuff. I don't get the bowel obstruction. Instead, I just get the fucking hair loss. And so I mean, I'm just recovering, like post-traumatic stress. I'm just
it's funny. I kept saying about this mortgage thing. It felt like I was, I was under so much stress and felt like I was being terrible. But I was joking around a lot the whole time this has been going on to Christine. Like, I think this mortgage thing was a bad idea. It's going to kill me. And it almost fucking did. Because I'm not sure stress didn't have something to do with this whole issue either.
Dude, I think it was 60% of your issue, because you don't just randomly get bowel obstructions like this. There's always it's usually a cascade of things that leads to a bowel obstruction.
Yeah,
Usually it starts somewhere, and usually it's stress.
Yeah, inflation and all that shit.
Yeah. So I definitely think that is it, man. I mean, look, 3 years ago I had a pretty good head of hair. You know what I mean? And then and then as I stepped up management duties and traveling duties and stuff, the hair just kept falling out. So I mean, stress can hit you in so many different ways, and man, it can kill you, just like Doc, Dan. That shit can kill you, man. Well,
the good news is I had a CAT scan of everything, so all my organs were normal except for my fucking bowels are screwed up. So I'm not dying any other way.
But you knew that anyways, right? You knew that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I never. But you get blood work, but you don't see a picture. When you get that picture, that kind of verifies everything. Everything looks good.
Yeah. So I'm just kicking back, man. I'm training. Right now I'm just eating whatever the fuck, and I have been essentially for the last month, anyways. You know what I mean? When my brain's been on vacation, essentially, man. Like all I want to do is hang out and. I want to travel more is what I want to do, but I've got dogs and I've got a wife. I've got obligations.
Yes,
and stuff,
we haven't talked about that. The fucking Alaska trip.
Oh man,
what was that like?
It was a magical experience. I think everybody needs to go out there just to check it out, just to see it.
It looked like you were super isolated. What did you do?
Man, I did tons of driving around and tons of just hiking around, just walking around because there's so much to see and there's not a whole lot to drive. The entire road length in Juneau is some 45 miles, and that's it. It just it goes north and south, and that's it. And where it ends is where it ends. And I drove to both ends just to see where it ends, and it ends in a barren, mountainous, straight. You know what I mean? On both ends of it, and it's you can't walk in there. I couldn't walk in there because I'd probably get killed. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just a fucking noob. If you're a seasoned, Alaskanite or a Juneauite, you know what you're doing. You can go up into the mountains and stuff, and you're prepped for whatever catastrophe could happen.
The things you see on a fucking show. Buried alive. VJ attempts to mountain climb. And
I mean,
you get avalanche.
Look, I stay in my lane. Right? I know what you know what I mean. Yes. I know where I'm at with these things.
That's what I would do too.
It's I can push to a certain degree. Even I sent you guys and I put on Instagram the video of the Mendenhall Glacier out there.
That was fucking crazy,
dude. Those pictures and the video is complete shit. If you saw it in person, that's the shit that would drop your jaw. Unfucking real. This is insane. Even the air out there smelled different.
Yeah, imagine it. I bet it does.
Because it was subarctic air with mountain air with ocean air all mixed together. It was the most incredible smell I've ever smelled. It was amazing.
Ah, man, that's good for the soul, bro.
Yeah, that's what it was, man. The whole trip was just this soul trip for me.
Yeah, that's fucking that takes takes you to the the peaceful and brings your peace inside. Even looking at your pictures, I was like, that is amazing. Is there people out there, or do you just were fucking alone? Is there other people in that area?
Oh yeah. There was a lot of people out there. You just couldn't see them because they were so tiny in that thing.
Yeah.
You really had to zoom in.
When you were staying, is there stores?
Yeah, no. Juneau's set up pretty well, man. It's
it's
different.
It looks so fucking barren. That's why I was he's way out in the fucking.
Oh, where I went, yeah. I mean, I had to drive out to those places and then just go fucking. I then just go wandering, Not too far though, because like I said, I'm a noob. I stay in my lane. I know what I'm at. I'm from fucking Michigan. I'm not from.
You don't want to end up frozen.
Not from Yukon territories.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Oh, it was just a beautiful trip. I want to go back. I've already missed it so much. I want to go back just to to turn my fucking phone off and not use it at all. I didn't even call my wife. She expected that though. She was like, I don't even want you to have to call me. Just go and just enjoy yourself. Just be, secluded like you want to be, and just go.
Yeah. I mean, it looked definitely
take it in and make some memories.
Fucking peaceful, bro. That's
amazing. What I needed. That's what I needed,
yeah.
man.
And I think everybody I could use that. I don't know if I'd like all that
everybody. I
practice.
suggest everybody does it. Just go be by yourself. Go somewhere that is completely foreign to you, that you've always wanted to see, and the way that it'll affect your life, especially even when you come back. It's like you've got a new appreciation for things, man. You know, it's like it was just a phenomenal trip for me, just like soul wise. Everything about it, man. It was magical. I loved it.
I bet
Yeah.
it looked magical.
It was incredible. Yeah. Listen, we've got bodybuilding stuff to talk about. We've got some questions here on the forum for just a few listeners. We're gonna knock a few of these out. I really wanted to get a show out for listeners because I know Advices is going crazy. They're putting all kinds of shit out here. We got a podcast every day. Even on the weekend, they've got podcasts coming out. You know, and I don't want to get left behind. Plus the doc, I wanted to get his story out right away. You know, so we don't get too forgotten about. You know.
Hey, let's take a minute break and come back and knock out these questions.
Let's do it.
All right, I'll be right back.
Hey guys, why are you using sports nutrition that was designed for someone else? At TrueNutrition.com, they offer the world's largest selection of quality protein powders, and they let you design your own custom blend from a variety of powders, flavors, boosts, and packaging options, like the Team Skip blend, for instance. That's over 20 billion possible combinations to create a protein powder tailored to your diet, your goals, your tastes, and your budget. TrueNutrition.com also offers the ability to create delicious custom oatmeal blends. And they're third-party tested, proving that all their supplements are ensured to have the highest level of quality and value. Don't be a sucker and pay for fancy packaging and gimmicks. Discover the source that bodybuilders trust and stop using mass-produced nutrition that wasn't designed for you. TrueNutrition.com. And use our code ADVICES at checkout to let them know that you support the shows. Hey guys, Scott McNally here.
And this is VJ Peary.
You guys know us from here at the Advices Radio Network. Well, we also have another show, Bodybuilding Nerds Radio. We've got everything from supplement reviews
To shout outs.
listener questions.
And of course, our weekly bodybuilding podcast reviews.
So check us out every Friday.
Or whenever you feel like cooking or doing your cardio or basically wasting time with us.
You can hear us at bodybuildingnerds.com.
Also on iTunes. Bodybuilding Nerds, it's time to get nerdy.
And we are back from commercial break. We are going to forum.advicesradio.com to check out some of the questions there left by the listeners. If you have a question and you want to submit it to Clinical Muscle or, Blood, Sweat, and Gear, Muscle Minds, drugs and stuff, all that stuff, you could go to forum.advicesradio.com, click on Bodybuilding Discussions link, and that takes you to all the shows and stuff. You can click on one, click on many, whatever you want to do, post. Everything is pretty anonymous, you just got to sign up, and that's it. You don't even have to put your name or picture or nothing. So it's all pretty safe. You know what I mean?
As anonymous as you want it to be.
Yeah.
You want to put your name up, you don't care. You do that too.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna go here, and we're gonna go to the first question here from the Advices Radio forum page. Thanks again for the educational and entertaining shows. Any input on this? So here's this question, Doc. How long should one take off from training before blood work? Should one reduce their protein intake as well, both to get more accurate reading and so docs don't shit a brick? He says also posted Ted this for a show. I don't know what that means. Anyways, what do you think? I mean,
I think on that bottom line, he was meant to say also posted this for the other shows.
Oh, gotcha.
All right. So, I don't think there's an exact time, 32 hours and 14 seconds, don't train for that long and then go get your blood work done. But in my experience from, getting labs on people and seeing what happens when I see labs where people go in directly after training or the day of or shortly thereafter within 24 hours of a hard session, what kind of happens to your labs inevitably, unless you're training like me, like a pussy.
Like me too, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like both of us. Yeah. If you're training hard, hard training, and you go, let's say you do back today, and you did a hard back session, and you're sore, and blah blah blah, and you go today and draw blood work, or tomorrow and draw blood work, chances are AST, ALT are going to be elevated. CK, if you got that drawn, your CK levels are going to be elevated because you're breaking down muscle, which in turn leads to your creatinine level being up a little bit more than it probably would be. Mm-hmm. So I don't have an exact time, but here's what my experience is when I've seen people have those sort of common errors on their labs because they took them too close to training and some other reasons. I generally say what I've seen works is 2 to 3 days. You take off training 2 to 3 days. Hydrate. Now, that's the big one, too. People wake up in the morning, 5 a.m., they want to get them labs done because they want to start eating and they want to get to the gym and they just want to get them over because they want to see what, the quicker I get them done, the quicker I get the results sort of thing. What I see a lot is I see a lot of things on labs that are reflective of dehydration, and that doesn't mean you're walking around chronically dehydrated. That means that you probably fasted for 12 hours. Mm-hmm. You woke up and just went and got them done. And, getting labs fasting does not mean dehydrated fasting. Yeah. So I would say what I've seen works is 2 to 3 days, but the big thing too is 2 to 3 days off of training, get up the morning of the show, get up the morning of the labs and drink water, plenty of water. Yeah. I recommend people drink enough till they are pissing clear before they get their blood work done because your veins are going to be nice and hydrated. That way they can stick them better. Nothing worse than going in there flat and they have to fish for your fucking veins, right. And over and over again. You'll be well hydrated. If you're pissing clear by the time you get your blood work done, you should know that you're well hydrated. So your labs are going to reflect that. Should be baseline. You'll get accurate kidney function. You'll get an accurate liver function because you took off a couple days. As far as lowering your protein, I would say no because you want to get a good baseline of what's going on your current diet, supplementation. Now, if you were to do all those things, you took off 3 days, you woke up, you drank a half a gallon of water, you were pissing clear before you got the lab work done, so you're well hydrated, and then you get your blood work back and your, let's say, BUN's elevated a little bit, creatinine's a little bit elevated. I think at that point, you may want to retest and lower your protein for a couple of days to make sure that's the only reason why your kidney function was off. Because really, it should respond pretty quickly. Because when just being off food for 3 days, my creatinine always runs about 1.2, 1.3 ish. That's me. I know that's why I know it's like that. I have plenty of trends, and just after like no protein, no food for like and fluids for like 48 hours. When I got my labs back, my creatinine was all the way down to like 1.0 because I'm not eating, and my BUN was like non-existent. My BUN runs around like 28, which is reflective of the protein I eat, and my BUN was all the way down to like 16 after not eating. So long story short is, I think a couple days, 48 to 72 hours of non-training, hydrate the morning of, meaning, I like to see people very hydrated, full, pissing clear. Because if you wake up and you go get your blood work done, you take your first piss and your piss is dark like tea or yellow, really dark yellow, that means you're concentrated. That means shit's floating around in your system.
Yeah, and that means your hematocrit's going to look super high.
And that was the last thing I was going to – yeah, exactly. Now, that's a funny thing that was going to talk about that too. Again, bodybuilders who are using anabolics or whatever, if you're an enhanced guy, you go in, you want to get a CBC, you want to get a good accurate reading of hemoglobin. If you're super dry, that can falsely elevate your blood count, just like Vij just said. Yeah. Because part of our blood is plasma, and part of that is water. So if you're really dry, it's going to inflate that number. It's going to make you look like you have more red cells than you do. So if you're hydrated, your kidneys are looking good, your liver's looking good because you didn't train, and then your hemoglobin is still high, you're like, then you might need to think about taking some blood off. Mm-hmm. But if it's in the normal range. So that's my spin on that. Vij, you got anything else?
No, you nailed it, man. That's it. Yeah, just training. If you're training all the time, that shit builds up, and you're always going to have what looks to be elevated liver enzymes, kidney, and all those markers are a little bit higher because of protein breakdown. So yeah, Doc nailed it.
I mean, just a few days of rest, and to me, I honestly, I'm more of a believer in the hydration thing. I'm not sure. I think if everyone made sure they were super well hydrated before their labs, even if they train, they might be okay. So many people, you get it, and I look at it and I go, this person didn't drink any fluids.
Yeah.
I can pick that shit up so good. You tell them drink more fluids and go back and get it. Or I've even seen where I have people do it the same day, repeat like 4 hours later, go back and get it again.
Sure.
Because now they ate breakfast, they drank their whatever, blah blah blah, had some water, go back and labs are completely different.
Yeah.
So hydration, man, that's fucking key.
Yeah, I agree. Next one here from the boards, Doc. It's a long one here, so I'm going to kind of bullet point where I can. But he says, so he's writing. He looks like he's writing for another person. So it looks like he says, "I am not a lady, but I have a lady listener question for you. I'm posting this for her, and she is going to give it a listen." All right, so here we go. We got to be on point here. Attached, you'll see some blood work posted with her permission that I recommended her get done to get baselines before throwing in any kind of supplementation, whether it be OTC or something more substantial. I looked at all three of those. I got an idea of them. Doc, did you pull those up?
I looked last night.
Okay, so you have an idea too.
I have an idea.
He says, "I'm not a coach yet, but I do have a few people that come to me for advices, so I am paying my dues and helping people for free to learn, so eventually I can be to service to the masses." Good plan. He says,
looking at his profile picture there, he looks like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, sure. He says, "I'm still learning a lot about reading lab work and was hoping to get your overall opinion on the labs in general, but I also have a few things that kind of jumped out at me and I'd especially highlight for you." He says, as a side note, he says, "I think this lady, she was in her luteal phase when her labs were drawn." Says, so points of interest. So we'll kind of just knock these out one at a time because there's like 5 or 6 different bullet points here, Doc.
Yeah.
Says testosterone levels. He says, "I'm not sure where a female total test should be, but I must say her free test seems super low. It seems strange to me that they would consider the normal range starting at 0.0 as well." Yeah, it's when you're dealing with the masses, your range is going to be pretty big, especially with females and testosterone. There's a specific range and then there's a beneficial range, and that is fucking different for everybody. It's she could have 0.3 nanograms per deciliter or whatever however they're measuring it, and in that range for her that might be perfect for her.
Her on her labs though, it was actually 0.8, which is on the lower side, but it's still in the normal range. I think he might have thought that was a 3, but it looks like an 8 to me.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. All right. I'm trying to get back to the board.
It is an 8. Free
up.
testosterone is an 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
0.8.
Right. Yeah. 0.8, not 8. 8 would be good for her. Actually.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it would be good, but it would be.
It'd be better. It would be something. Muscle, it'd be better.
Yeah, that would definitely help. But yeah, I mean, the thing with it seems strange they would consider normal range. Well, here's the thing: women aren't really supposed to have a lot of floating testosterone around, which leads into one of his other questions.
Sure.
I think number 2.
Yeah. So he says sex hormone binding globulin seems to be high on the high end of normal. Could this be why her free test is low? For now, yeah. Look, when you take a picture of the of your hormones, like a blood draw or something, like a snapshot in time, just like we say, your sex hormone globulin, binding globulin goes up, your free test goes up, it goes down. It waxes and wanes throughout the day, throughout the week, even.
Right. And the thing with ladies is they naturally have higher SHBG because what's the word I'm looking for?
Estrogen.
By development, the way they were made,
evolutionarily speaking,
they don't want to have a lot of free tests, so they have almost a double high level. So they like their SHBG level on labs normally is double that of a man because it's like a protective effect. They don't want their bodies aren't needing to have a lot of testosterone. You don't want that because for them that's a lot of negative side effects. That's what we call polycystic ovarian syndrome. That's what you develop when your androgens in your blood are high. You end up with hair growth, weight gain, sugar problem for women. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Naturally. So women with polycystic ovarian syndrome, they have high free test levels. They have high testosterone levels. They probably have low SHBG. And they have all this floating extra androgen around, and they end up with all those symptoms. They can't ovulate. They end up with sugar problems. They're all, not all, but most of them are obese. And so by nature, that's what I was going to say. By nature, I don't want to say, however they were, whoever intended the female body to be the way it is.
By design.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want to say God because I don't even know, but you get my point. SHBG is going to be high. Their free test should be lower. They're female.
Yeah.
That's why they're female. Yeah. So that's the reason why her SHBG is high, because that's her body doing that. That's her sort of natural defense mechanism against androgens. And if it wasn't high for some reason, she would have higher free test levels and she would either be able to put on muscle a little more, or if it was too high, you'd develop all those bad things like polycystic ovarian syndrome. So that was number 2. That was my point on that. So the answer, he said, could this be why her free test is low? The answer is yes.
Yeah. And sex hormone binding globulin can go up and down. It's high right now because it's clearing stuff out. You may have had a thyroid swing at that point where T3 affects sex hormone binding globulin as well as insulin too. You know what I mean? So your insulin release will affect carbohydrates. Carbohydrates affects sex hormone binding globulin too. So
yeah, no doubt.
So I mean, you got all those things to contend for. Also, it's not just a one-way street when you're talking about SHBG.
Right. I was just scanning through this, and I just happened to see, because I was like, "Where do we have any stats?" This young lady she's tiny. She's 119 and 5'5".
Yeah. So she's 32. 119 and 5'5". Yeah. Now, apparently, since this guy's been helping her last few months, diet and training, she's gained 8 pounds and dropped from a size 4 to size. So she's recomping like a motherfucker,
right?
And and she's sounds like a little freak, is what she sounds like. At 119 and 5'5" and 8 pounds of muscle, that's pretty crazy.
That's pretty awesome. What's the next question you had?
So she asked, the next one is IGF-1 levels. Her IGF-1 levels seem to be through the roof. The only other labs I had to compare are my own, and I was on full blast. Total test levels were around 3.5K and free test at 50 for me, and my IGF was 199. Yeah, IGF and testosterone, there is a relationship there. But there's so many other variables that can affect that too. He says her IGF is at 313, all natty. So I'm a bit confused why her IGF is so high. She's also in her luteal phase. All right, so her hormones are going up and down. Her progesterone is up right now if she's in her luteal phase. No, luteal phase is estrogen, I believe. Fuck. I can't remember the fucking science. But it's the hormones that are affecting that IGF-1 level at this point. You know what I mean? Wherever she is in her cycle, it's her body is getting ready for, either shedding the uterus or building up the uterus lining.
Right. Yeah. I was looking at it. It is elevated, 313, and her normal high is 243. So right. IGF-1. That's right. Yeah. So whatever the issue, it probably is the hormones that has got it up. But hey, that would be a good time to be building some muscle, for her. So I don't have a good explanation. My first thing was, because I didn't read all this, was, is she taking anything that could do that? But I guess the answer is no. So you're probably more, your answer is probably more correct. Yeah. Yeah.
That's most likely why it's going on. And that number doesn't stay. And you know what? She may just be she may have naturally high IGF-1 or growth hormone levels too.
Which is why she's put on the muscle she's put on so fast.
Sure thing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's also a factor. IGF-1 I find is very genetic. You can take all the growth hormone in the world in some people, and their IGF-1 can still be low end.
It may still not respond. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very personal, that hormone. Fucking all hormones are personal, but IGF-1 seems to be pretty tricky. Some people, IGF-1 is an aging hormone also. It is. The science is all there. So, that's something to take into account also. Her vitamin D is pretty low. We are planning to supplement with 5,000 IUs of vitamin D3 right away. Maybe bringing the vitamin D3 up could help free test a little, along with some boron and maybe a couple other natural sups. What do you think about that, Doc?
No, I think it definitely needs to come up. Vitamin D could definitely help with the hormone profile, especially the testosterone and stuff like that. But also with other things, I mean, insulin sensitivity. She's a female, bones, bone and joint strength. Girls are at risk for, and being that she's a tiny girl, 119. I don't know. Fast forward in years from now, you wouldn't want her to walk around like that because small women are more at risk for osteoporosis than, believe it or not, heavy set women, because they're not carrying around the muscle mass. The mass on their bones. As a bigger lady. But so yeah, I mean, I looked at that. It's low. I would definitely get that up at least. I would say above 50, but she's going to have to get blood work done because 5,000 is an arbitrary number. I don't know if that's going to work for her, if it's going to be too much, if it's going to be too little. So I would start her on it. That's a good, decent starting point. But I would definitely repeat that in a few weeks to see what you're dealing with, to make sure you're not overshooting or it's not doing anything, because it's possible that she may need more than that.
Yeah. Okay. I had to Google this, Doc, because it was making me crazy. But luteal phase. Yeah, luteal phase is the secondary portion. You got your follicular phase and you have your luteal phase. Your follicular phase, you've got a huge surge in estrogen getting that uterus ready, right, for reproduction essentially. Yep. And that doesn't happen. Progesterone goes up, egg falls down. That's luteal phase. So progesterone, I know that has an effect on IGF-1 also.
Well,
so there's that. And also vitamin D. Vitamin D can actually dip during those times too, just from blood loss alone, But yeah, I'm with you. Vitamin D3 is pretty important. The good thing about that is that you can store vitamin D pretty well. People think that you need to take.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, if people think that you need to take it every day to get your levels up, it's not really true. Like you could take 5,000 IU a couple times a week, and you could have surging levels just from that alone.
Yeah, it's a fat soluble vitamin, so it's one of those ones that's what you can't really get toxic on it, but that's what makes it more potential to have toxicity, because you don't really piss it out like you do vitamin C. You hold on to it. The rest, like A, D, E, and K, they're all the fat solubles. You can potentially go, have too much of them. They're too much. You could hold on to them and end up with a toxicity, which is rare. But I'm just saying it's possible because of the way they're stored. They could build up over time, just like you're saying. So I think 5,000 is probably a decent starting point where she's at. But I would just double check, because she might only need 2,000.
Yeah, she might. Yeah, and that's very, very, very personal thing too. But
it's hard to tell. I mean, she might. I've had people in my who have true vitamin D deficiency, like super low, like none, where we start them on the 50,000 IUs, twice a week, and we do that for 6 to 12 weeks, and it doesn't even respond. So you're giving them massive doses of it to get it to respond. So everyone's different,
Yeah, wow, yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, usually those people are your typical sort of metabolic syndrome people, obese, insulin,
really white. Really white, obese, type 2 diabetes, or really bad pre-diabetes, shit diets, pale, low, they sit in their house and watch TV. The My 600-Pound Life people. Yeah. They need fucking vitamin D.
They all have low vitamin D.
And a salad.
And then they get depressed, and then they have hormone problems. So yeah, that's the kind of people that usually need like that. So anyway, I think vitamin D is awesome. Definitely should do that.
DHEA. According to their ranges, she is well within the normal range of 116. But what about supplementing little to be on the high end of that? I don't think that's a good idea, man. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I just think that if she's in the normal range for DHEA at the age of 32, then let it ride. Because adding in DHEA at this point is for in a female who's roughly 32 years old. Where she's at right now, most likely most of that hormone that you're putting in is just going to get turned into estrogen anyways.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not going to be bumping up testosterone. You're going to do supplementing with DHEA. You're still dealing with the natural order of things. So the natural order of a female body with extra DHEA in it just means more conversion to female hormone, essentially. So I don't think it's a good idea. What do you think, Doc?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't see the need for it if you're in normal range. I don't think it's going to make her testosterone levels go, super therapeutic. Super physiologic. I don't think it's going to bump it up enough to really give give you the boost is what he's thinking, sort of that for muscle building. And so I don't know. I've never been a big fan of it because even for guys, to be honest, because it can go both ways and there's no way to really judge what it's doing, you know?
Yeah.
And I think, listen, so DHEA is available at Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it was that good at doing anything for muscle building, I'm sure the FDA, DEA would be all over it. And that's the only hormone really that's over the counter, that's always been over the counter, and no one's ever batted an eye at it. I've always been like not a DHEA fan because I figured if it was any good, it wouldn't be on the shelves anymore.
Well,
Isn't that a terrible?
At like 3 cents a pill, you know?
Yeah, isn't that? I'm a doctor, but isn't that a terrible way to think of it? But that's the way I think of it. If it was that good at anything,
yeah.
At least this is just my opinion. I could be complete. I'm sure there's studies out the wazoo proving this stuff. But my thing is, if it was good at doing anything really to increase hormones or performance or muscle building, it would be off the shelf because they fucking, they don't want nothing on the shelf like that. I mean, except creatine.
It has its place. All right. Here's a couple of examples. So
I know some of the ones you're talking about too.
If you're in your 40s or 50s,
or if it's low,
or if it's low, you can definitely get a benefit from it, and it'll definitely help out. Or if you have I hate to use the word, but like a metabolic deficiency of some kind where your adrenal glands are not doing so well, DHEA helps restore a lot of those adrenal hormones in there. Because it is a master hormone, and it can get turned into basically anything in the body,
That's why I don't like it.
Yeah. And with males, if you're on TRT and you're a little older, DHEA can help, but you got to be on an aromatase inhibitor because that will aromatize quickly to estrogen. DHEA will in a man too.
And I know that's one situation where it may be useful with TRT, but in general, if I was going to tell, if a girl or a guy said to me, hey, I want to, something natural over the counter to really give me this boost in the gym and sort of help me build some muscle with my diet and my hard training. Would you tell me to take DHEA? I'd be like, I don't know if it's going to do anything. I don't. Anyway, that's just me. It's my opinion. I don't have but that's my opinion on that.
Yeah.
But I know the situation with the TRT you're talking about. It may actually help that situation.
Yeah, but you're dealing with men on hormone replacement who are more than 32 years old, right? Yeah. It actually helps with women for their sex drive too. But that also has everything to do with the increase in estrogen. So that's not necessarily a good thing,
Yeah.
Last piece of the puzzle here. He says her iron is super high. Her diet is not particularly high in iron. Could it be a sign? Could it be so high because she is getting close to starting a period, thus her body is preparing for a huge loss in blood? I know a lot of women can border being anemic due to the period. Yes, absolutely it can. What do you think here, Doc?
Yeah, my thought is exactly the opposite. I mean, it's concerning that it's high for no reason. I mean, I don't think unless she's taken a supplement.
Yeah, she hasn't lost any blood yet. Okay, she is in her luteal phase, so she hasn't lost blood yet. It's building, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't see
it shouldn't be high from that.
Right, even in normal females who have monthly blood loss, what you see is actual potentially low iron. You wouldn't. They don't start building iron just because their blood's going up.
Storing. No,
her hemoglobin's not going up to 17. 18 because she's about to lose blood. They lose blood because they can get anemic because their hemoglobin and iron stores stay normal baseline, and that over time, as you continue to lose blood, you don't replace that iron via either diet or nutrition or whatever or supplementation. Your iron saturation drops. And once that drops to low, then you start leaching your serum iron. And that's where you see anemia start after that happens. In her case, she has a really high iron saturation, meaning she's storing a lot of iron. And her iron level is like 100 points over. So I don't think it's because she's about to start her period, okay? I don't think that's the case. No. But I do. And if she's not supplementing, I would be a little bit concerned about this.
This sounds like a congenital thing. This sounds like a familial thing. I bet her siblings and parents have
it actually worries me about a hemochromatosis. A genetic hemochromatosis, if she has no other reason for this.
Yeah.
I would just keep an eye on it. And I don't know this young lady. Is she tan all the time? Does she look does her skin look tan all the time for no reason. I mean, there are signs that iron's going up. Well, her liver enzymes and everything are okay. That's another sign that, if someone has high iron chronically, they can get some liver enzyme elevation. That's genetic hemochromatosis. But if she's not supplementing and she's not taking anything else, and it's just high like this all the time, I would really monitor that. I would maybe talk to a hematologist, because this is just my opinion. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just, I don't know her all the way. I didn't examine her. I don't get to see if she's got sclerolicterus. Maybe her eyes look yellow all the time. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm sure she's healthy, but it is a little concerning to be walking around with high iron for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me wonder why she's storing that. But the question is, do I think it's because she's about to start her period? No, because I think the opposite would happen.
Exactly.
You keep losing blood and you lose iron.
Yeah.
Your body doesn't. Okay, girls don't lose blood every month and then their body goes, okay, let's up the hemoglobin and up the iron again.
Right.
No, it just continues to drop for those unfortunate ladies who lose tons of blood. And usually girls who get anemic from their menstrual cycle are having super heavy flow.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're losing lots of blood. And girls on birth control pills and things like that, generally their periods are mild, lasting 3 days or less. And then, and if it's not, if you're on a maintenance birth control pill or something like that, and you're still having heavy menstrual cycles, you should get a new birth control pill. That's the reason why we do that. So I don't know how I got on that. But long story short is, no, I don't think this is her body compensating because she's about to start her period. It wouldn't happen that fast because her saturation is super high, meaning it's been like that. She's storing this iron. So I don't know. I'm always thinking crazy thoughts, that's the way I am, because I don't like to miss bad shit. So I would really monitor that. Look at her. Does she eat a lot of vegetables? I mean, if she's eating spinach galore and liver, I mean, that could be your answer right there. I don't know her diet. I mean,
yeah. Liver tabs do it. Spinach do it. Yeah. High iron.
Yeah, I mean,
foods.
tons of iron-rich foods. Liver, spinach. What else is good in iron? Off the top of my head, I'm losing train of thought. But they're the two big things jumped out of my head.
Basically, any red meat, organ meats.
I mean, if she's eating lots of beef,
leafy
maybe
green.
she's getting lots of. Where the hell did I put my drink? Oh, there it is. So I would just look for other reasons. Simple stuff. And
I think it's fair enough that she should probably, that's alarming enough where she should probably just get it at least checked out.
I wonder who ordered these bloods on her. I wonder if this is a doctor who ordered this, because they should have seen that.
You see that marker and then jump on it.
Oh, it says private MD.
Okay. These are personal labs. Okay. So
we're reading them for her, honestly. So I would take a look at your diet, take a look at other things, maybe talk to your family, say, hey, any of you guys ever had high iron?
Yeah. Figure it out, because it's a little alarming. It's just weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's just odd to be. Yeah. That's something like, okay, so just like other things, like these are certain things that I always tell people that really should never be out of whack. I mean, storing high iron for no reason is kind of odd.
Weird.
That's one.
It's just a weird thing. Anything that looks weird, it's a good idea. Just go check it out.
At least double.
What's it going to hurt?
It could have been a bad day.
Could be a glitch,
things like calcium. When I see people post their labs and their calcium's high and everybody's like, stop taking milk. No,
God.
dude, that shouldn't matter. You got to get your PTH checked because something's going on. If you're because high calcium can kill you.
Sure can.
So that's the thing. There's certain things on labs where you can go, let's recheck. There's certain things that really should never be out of sort of homeostasis, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I bet it's dietary. I bet she's eating something that's maybe a lot of protein, a lot of red meat or something. Anyway, is there anything else on that one?
You know what? There's a last part here. I got to read it. She says,
sorry.
She feels that she is losing fat at a good pace and is happy where her body fat is at, but a bit frustrated at the rate of visual muscle and strength gain. So the only reason why I'm reading that is because I'm annoyed by it by a little bit. I don't know how long she's been training for, but she's natty. She's 119. She's 5'5", and she put on 8 pounds of weight, dropped from a size 4 to a size 2. That means her body is changing pretty rapidly.
Yeah, she's recomping good.
She's recomping like a freak.
Built muscle. Yeah.
Look. She has nothing to be frustrated about. This is not a fucking sprint. It's not a 100-yard dash. What are you trying to put on so much muscle for so quickly for? It's not a good idea, first of all, and adds a virtual impossibility also. You're a natty girl, and you've done fucking amazing at this point for sure. But, there's a cap. Look, I said it 1,000 times, and I'll say it again. As a male natty who trains her fucking balls off, eats right, and doesn't drink alcohol, doesn't smoke, they live their life with bodybuilding, preparing meals, and they do it consistently week in, week out, they can look forward to a maximum of about 2 pounds a year gain of lean mass, lean tissue. All right? And that's if they do everything right with great genetics. I'm talking about good genetics for muscle building.
I couldn't agree more. And I'll go as far as to say, even moderately enhanced people who don't have great genetics and do everything right, may not ever may not ever see 220 lean muscle on their body.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not easy. You in general. And the funny thing is, this girl put on this much muscle and she's doing the thing, and she's young and she's still 32.
Young enough.
You talk to someone like my wife who's been doing this a long time, natural, and you'll just see, and she's strong and she lifts hard and she eats right. And she still isn't a big muscle lady, and that's why, and that's what Tracy. I almost said that. That's what Chrissy has explained, because Chrissy's been working with some people. She started working with her friend who has a training business, so she's doing some personal training.
Good.
I told you about that. She got her certificate and everything. She's not doing a lot. She has a couple people she takes a couple times a week, and her basic thing is she's just teaching them how to lift weights.
That's good.
The right way.
Mm-hmm.
And these people they're asking her about how fast they should see results, and she said, "Look at me. I've been doing this my whole life."
Right. Yeah.
And like, she trains hard for a girl. She's not enhanced, obviously, and so it is what it is. I mean, and I think she's got pretty good size for her. When I met her, she was 104 pounds at 5'7". Now she's 140 something, and she's got pretty good arm size, and the delts got bigger and over. But I'm talking about 25 years later.
Yeah.
And that she hasn't trained that long consistently. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying, like, that's how long. Even if you do things pretty good, like, so yeah, it's a marathon. It's a marathon. Now this girl with 8-pound gain of muscle, maybe she'll be a freak, and in a year she'll be up 25 pounds of muscle. Then there you go. But really, in general, most people, that's a hell of a good trend you're on. 8 pounds of muscle and you drop to two sizes closed. That's decent.
Yeah, you need to just, that's the thing, man. This is the Instagram, generation. You know what I mean? Everything is like instant. Everything is like, it's like people have less patience than ever. And this is bodybuilding. Whether you're putting on muscle, losing fat, that's bodybuilding. And if you're trying to bodybuild, it takes fucking time. All right. You're off to a great start, but man, don't expect 8 pounds a year. It's not going to happen. I don't care who you are. You're not Lee Haney,
Right. And I'll add something else too. A lot of people only use scales and visual effects and pant sizes as a gauge for their progress. Take a look at where you start. How long has she been doing it? I don't remember. You said it.
It didn't say really. It didn't really say.
All right. Well, let's just take a look back at how much last year, how much you squatted, or how much your hip thrusts were, or how much your curling, or how much your shoulder presses were a year ago, and where you're at now. I mean, if you're 20 pounds up on your shoulder presses in a year, that's progress too.
Yeah, there's a muscular gain there that's not appreciable.
There's something happening. Fat ain't strong.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So look at other things. How do you feel? Is your well-being better?
Yeah.
Do you feel better about yourself? Do you look forward to going to the gym? I mean, just looking at your biceps and stepping on a scale every day. Oh, I look the same today. That's not always everything, and like Veach said, it takes a long fucking time. And listen, as a natural female, you're at a super like
you're
deficit.
Already at a horrible disadvantage. Thank God your IGF-1 is past natural.
Right.
Right?
I mean, testosterone is a pretty powerful hormone, even naturally.
Yes. So
guys have that advantage.
Look, she's done wonderfully up until this point. And there's no reason to get frustrated, because if you see the big picture, you understand that you've got a life investment here, and you've got another 30 years to go at least, right? So, I mean, plan on 1 to 2 pounds a year of solid lean gains after this, because that's all you can look forward to as a natty. And shit, even if you get on gear, I don't know. Everyone's so different with their gear and how they respond to gear that it may not change. It may not change from there either, or it may get better. I don't know. I can tell you that I was natty my entire competitive foray So I started training, I was 15, and I, competed until I was 31. And in that span of time as a natty, I put on about 24 pounds of muscle. That's
a long, yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a lot of muscle, but look at the time I invested in
17 years.
And
right?
that was day in, day out. Like, even still today, like, I don't keep track of my meals. I don't give a fuck anymore. But I mean, back then, that was my life. I dedicated my fucking life to it, day in, day out. I didn't miss training. I missed 1 week of training my whole life, and I hated it.
Yeah, didn't you say you thought taking off a week would be good for you, and you fucking hated every minute of it?
Yeah, I asked the son.
I remember that story.
Yeah, I asked some
I told you needed off. Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you just competed? Oh, dude, you got to take a week off." I was like, "Oh shit, this guy's huge. I better listen." Terrible idea. That guy didn't know jack shit. Dumbass.
Oh,
but
yeah, man,
it's just this is a time investment, and to get frustrated at any one point is kind of a silly thing. Just look at the big picture, and you'll get it.
Yeah. You're doing good. Your
doing
labs
good.
look
Doing
pretty
great.
Just
Doing great. I'd love to see a picture, though. I would love to see some pictures. You don't have to post a face. I just want to see what progress looks like here.
Yeah, follow up on that iron. That's my big thing of all that.
Absolutely, yeah. Next question here, Doc. He says, "Hey, Docs, was curious about blood donation. I want to know if there's any downside to donating a Power Red donation." I don't know. He puts that in quotes. I don't know what that is.
I got you.
You do it? Okay. Where they take twice the red blood cells but replace plasma and platelets. Oh, I see.
He just explained it, yeah.
Okay. Does this in any way defeat the purpose of blood donation in relation to controlling our numbers? Thanks, Docs. I look forward to your show whenever you guys put one out. All right.
So, when you go to the blood bank, I disclaimer here, I am not an expert on how the blood bank works. I don't pay that much attention to it, but I do know this: the double red or the Power Red, and then there's regular blood donation where they just stick you and they pull off everything. And usually, when they do the regular blood donation, it's just a unit. They pull off a unit of blood, blah blah blah. You drop your numbers a little bit. The Power Red is basically a double red cell only, and at the same time they're reinfusing your plasma and platelets. And the reason they do that is so you can give a double amount and you won't feel like you did, because they're giving you back the volume. So you won't get up, you won't be dizzy, lightheaded, blah, blah, blah. So he says, where the twice was, I know that, does this in any way defeat? No, you're still going to get rid of the blood. But what it does do, though, you're going to drop your numbers. What it does do, and this is all totally up to you. This is all my opinion. There's nothing extra healthy or nothing extra bad about it. But when you do that donation, you can't give blood as frequently. So if you're someone who wants to go every 8 weeks or whatever it is, you can't do that. Beej, you there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm listening. I'm just listening.
So anyway,
I'm with you.
So the answer is it's all up to you. If you want to be someone who just goes in, dumps some blood, bring your numbers down, and get the hell out of there, a regular blood donation is probably the way to go. If you do this, it takes longer, maybe like a half an hour more. You're given the double cells, so they don't want you given as frequently.
That makes sense.
And really, I mean, if you go in and give a whole unit of blood, you're not going to lose enough platelets and plasma to really feel it anyway. I mean, some people may get a little dizzy and lightheaded, and you get some juice and whatever, and you feel better.
What do they do with the plasma and platelets? Do they put that back in?
With the Power Red, yes.
Okay, I see what they're doing there.
They as they're drawing it out, they reinfuse your plasma and platelets with like normal saline mixed,
I see.
just to keep your blood volume up. So
Yeah,
you feel,
okay.
So you don't feel like shit from getting 2 whole units of blood taken out.
Okay.
So basically, you can give double the amount of red cells, but you don't lose anything else.
Yeah. That's why I've always looked cross-eyed at plasma donations. Like, if you have any bit of higher like HCT, hematocrit, or hemoglobin, and you do a plasma donation, you're kind of putting yourself at risk,
Yeah. I think so. The answer is I'm not an expert on this, but my answer to him would be I think it's a personal choice.
Yeah.
You want to give blood, you want to get rid of a bunch of red cells fast.
Once, yeah.
You could do the Power Red, but you can't go back for a while.
So you say maybe 16 weeks or so, or?
Yeah, so I forget the exact number, but it's like double time.
Sounds
you can only
about
go like a couple times a year or 3 times a year, as opposed to go and give a unit every 8 weeks, I believe it is. So yeah, but in general, I don't think it's going to hurt you. I don't think it's really.
No real,
it's not,
no
right,
real
it's not
benefit,
more healthy,
right? It's
not
like a
more
real
healthy for you.
Yeah.
It's just a way to dump a bunch of blood cells fast.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, okay. I get it.
I answer that. I'm not an expert. I'm not. That's my caveat. But that's the information I understand about.
Yeah,
that.
I almost, like I said, I don't know jack shit about that, so I can't really. That's why I was listening to you answer the question. I was like, okay, this makes sense. But
So
I don't want to
basically,
do it.
the upside is you get rid of a bunch of blood real quick.
Yeah, you
and
just
won't
dump
feel dizzy or lightheaded.
Yeah, that sounds like a
down-
personal choice to me. Like being,
Right.
how often do you want to go?
Exactly. And how long do you want to be in that center? You
Yeah.
want to be in there an hour and out, or 30 minutes and out? Or do you want to be in there an hour and a half, or 2 hours and out?
Yeah, I can't think
Yeah.
of anything that would, like negatives for that.
Yeah,
you know?
it's not. It's just
Other than being maybe lightheaded afterwards. I don't know.
that's my. I think it just comes down to what's best for you.
You just get a fucking donut afterwards and you're good. That's why they serve them over there, right? They got donuts and stuff at those
All
blood
the
banks.
juice and all that shit. Yeah.
I'm going to get donuts this morning, man. That's the only thing I can think of this morning. I woke up looking for
Well,
donuts.
listen, that's the problem. Is
Simple
the things
sugars,
that-
right? Just
my
no
diet- my
no
diet
bowel
now-
obstructions.
my diet. My diet, instead of oatmeal in the morning, I've been eating cream of rice, which is low fiber, by the way. It was no fiber actually.
No fiber, yeah.
I can't say I'm a big fan of it, but
No?
I've been managing it. Yeah, it's
What
kind
do
of
you
fun.
what do you put in it?
Just Splenda and some sugar-free
that's all
strawberry preserves.
Oh, we got fancy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't eat white fucking. So, I mean, it's okay, but I'm so used to eating the oatmeal. But the other options are waffles, pancakes, and donuts.
Yeah.
So,
Now you're
or
talking.
Captain Crunch.
Fuck yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I'm going with the cream of rice. I mean, I guess I could have white toast.
You know
but
what? A little capping ain't gonna hurt you, Doc. Post-workout capping. It's a good idea.
Here's the thing. This is how my brain has been so fucked up over these years from being a fat kid. I couldn't even. It's just I have a food aversion to certain things. I could, even if I wanted to, like, okay, let's try using some white bread for my carb. I'm so fucked up in the head that I can't even do that. I'll eat Captain Crunch before I'd eat a Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fucking my head. I just stopped on white stuff when I was young, and now I'm like, Anyway, on to the next one.
Next question from the boards. Matriculated meatheads. That's us. I'm currently taking doxycycline to control my acne, but I think it's starting to significantly impact my digestion since it's nuked all my beneficial bacteria. Gotcha. So here's a couple of questions that he asked. Number one, is there a maximum length to run in any antibiotic? He says, I'm trying to choose between the lesser of two evils, cystic acne and shit digestion. What do you think, Doc? We'll answer these one at a time. Just 3 questions here. Okay,
this is a tough question about the length, because here's the deal. In general, when you have some type of infection, acute infection, sinusitis, pneumonia, whatever, we generally recommend around a 10-day course of antibiotics. Now, there are some things that require a little bit longer, blah, 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 but generally 10-day course. Now, here's the tough part about this. When you're dealing with acne and doxycycline, there are people who are on this months at a time, because it takes that long for it to really help to clear the infection that's causing the acne. So my answer for this specific would be as long as it takes for your skin to look better, and then no more. If it looks better after 10 days, stop it. And then think of start using other skin things like that. Look into why you're breaking out so bad. Is it the cycle you're on, or is it the food you're eating? Is there something else going on in your body? But generally, when people are ill and they need an antibiotic, we generally do like a 10-day course. That's like across the board. You can go a little shorter sometimes, 7 days. Sometimes sinus infections, if they're a real sinus infection, sinuses don't penetrate real well as far as blood supply. So we might have to go up to 14 days to 3 weeks. Things like Lyme disease is an automatic 21 days right off the bat or more. So it's so hard to say, but in general, for most normal sort of infections, 10 days. Acne is hit or miss. I mean, you give someone 3 weeks to 10 days of this, and his skin might look peachy clean and be good to go. Then I would stop it. But doxycycline, some people run it at a low dose. Actually, a better one for acne would be minocycline. But anyway, they're similar, but doxy's good. A lot of people run minocycline for a long time. I've had people on it for years. 50 milligrams once or twice a day as a maintenance if they have really bad cystic acne. So the answer is it's hard to tell I would go by symptoms. If your symptoms are improving, I would stop it. Especially if you're having side effects, diarrhea, anything like that. The thing with doxycycline is it can be, really affected by things like milk products. So if you're taking your medicine and you're drinking milk or you're eating yogurt with it, that could affect your digestion, effectiveness of the doxy. You got to be really careful with doxycycline. If you're in a sunny area, it makes your skin. It's one of the ones that can make you burn really fast. So the answer is, I would say a minimum of 10 days, and depending on symptoms, 2 to 3 weeks, and see how you do. But it's really hard to tell with acne. Sometimes you're on it for a month or two.
That sucks, man. That's a hard one. That's a hard one to balance. There's so many people, especially bodybuilders, fucking women, women especially, they really suffer between that,
Yeah. So it's a tough one. But like I said, I would play it by ear, sort of check your symptoms out. If things are looking better, stop the medicine for a while. Give your bowel a break. Give your body a break. But yeah, acne is a tough one when it comes to antibiotics.
He says, is there anything I can do to help, like probiotics, prebiotic, stuff like that? Any recommendations?
Yeah, I mean, if you're having digestion issues, you're right. It could be that the doxy is wiping out your normal flora. So I always recommend a probiotic. I mean, I'm not a guy is a super guru on probiotics and what's the best brand. But over the counter wise, I think this one I've always said it's pretty basic. It's not that expensive. It's called Culturelle. It's been around a long time.
Culturelle, been around
for something like antibiotics, sort of to help you get back to normal. That's a good one. I mean, it's not one of these fancy ones that you're going to buy from the health food store or one online. It's going to cost you $75,000. It's not that high, dose, but it will do what you need it to while you're on the antibiotic, at least to keep you regular and keep things.
I suggest eating Bubby sauerkraut.
That's his next
bits throughout the day. I'd suggest that's the next question. So fermented foods are great. I would definitely do that. Those are things that will help more so than the probiotic. Just because you're getting it's just like more of like a natural food intake, so your body's going to deal with it a little bit differently than a capsule would.
Just like anything, I'm a firm believer in if you can do something naturally, as far as even with fish oil supplementation. I mean, if you're someone who can really work in salmon 3 or 4 times a week, that's probably better than taking a capsule of fish oil.
As long as it's wild caught.
I mean, as long as it's good stuff, right? But I'm saying, I'm not like that. I don't have that discipline. So that's why I supplement. But it's funny you said the fermented foods. That was his question. So there you go.
Fermented foods.
One thing I know a lot of people talk about, and I'm just curious, because I've never had it. I looked at it in the jar, and I'm just like, it just looks fucked up. Is it called kimchi?
Kimchi, it's cabbage. It's fermented cabbage,
When I look at it in the jar, it just looks scary. What is it? What does it taste like?
I think it's good, man. I think it's good. It's Korean. It's a Korean food. It's their version of sauerkraut, essentially.
Okay. Yeah. I've often thought about trying it just because I hear so many people do it. I know it's good for your gut, which now I'm probably going to need.
I like it. I mean, if you like sauerkraut, kimchi is just a spicier sauerkraut, I think.
Does it have fish in it?
No, God, no. I hope not.
No, when I look at it, it looks like it has just shit in it. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't know about fucking weird fish food. In it, man. I can't bring myself to eat the weird. Well, what about kombucha? I mean, that's a good one for your digestion
that's
too.
That's a fermented food. Yeah, that's another fermented food. I think that's great. When you're on like a doxycycline or minocycline, like you had said, you're nuking everything, man. So trying to replenish, positive bacterial stores is almost near impossible. So trying to do it with an actual pill probiotics, probably not the best choice. But if you're intaking, fermented foods throughout the day, that's the best way. You're making small deposits over and over and over again, and your body will deal with that food accordingly. I think that's a great idea. And also to help with digestions, try some enzymes, digestive enzymes also.
Yeah, back to how long of the antibiotic. Again, listen, just look at your symptoms. If you're looking better, man, stop the medicine. Because, you don't want to overdo anything, and also, try to get to the bottom of it. I mean, I don't know, I think UC has this. I don't know his history in life, if he's always had acne problems, because that's a tougher one to solve, because sure that's just, different. Some people just have bad skin, it's genetic and it is what it is. But if it's just because you're having a terrible breakout temporarily, someone started you on some doxy, or maybe you started it yourself, I would just look at your symptoms, and the sooner you can look you say to yourself, okay, not too bad, things are looking better, I would maybe switch to a topical antibiotic. Acne, something like clindamycin gel works good with a little bit of benzoyl peroxide together. We call that Clindagel or something like that. But anyway, they're prescriptions, but they're, you're using topicals as opposed to orals. So I would, acne's a tough one. It could be 2 months,
It's tough, man.
especially with antibiotic. It may not work. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
It may not even work. I've had people had to go to Bactrim for their freaking acne gets so bad. That's really strong.
Yeah.
So anyway, yep.
Oh man, I hope you figure it out, man. Just let us know how how those fermented foods help you. It's just tough. It's tough to balance when you're dealing with a problem like that and then a solution like that too. You have to nuke everything in order to get somewhere. It's tough,
Yeah.
Next question from the boards. Hey Doc, so I recently heard Doc Puri on an old episode of BNR talking about UMP and Captain Crunch pre-workout. Fuck yeah. Post-workout too, by the way. He says, I decided to give this a shot, so I mixed a scoop of Gatorade powder and whey and EAA mix. No, okay, so he didn't give the Captain Crunch and UMP a shot, all right? He mixed up some Gatorade into whey isolate and essential amino acids. Not the same thing, just saying.
No, what you do is you actually make a shake with scoop powder and water and dump it in like milk.
Dump it, yeah. That's my milk, and it's a big fucking bowl of Captain Crunch. I'm not talking about a little tiny 1 cup. It's like 7 cups.
Not one serving. By the way, have you ever seen? So I tried this too. Have you ever really So I was trying to do like with these carbs, 1 serving size. I'm really looking at the serving sizes because I don't really want to eat them. But have you ever seen what 3/4 cup of pasta is? 1 serving?
Yeah, 47 grams of carb or something like that.
Yeah, but did you ever see the volume of that? It's like
yeah, it's like a
it's like 20 little shells. Yeah,
yeah,
and that's why people get fat from them because that looks that 1 certain. No one ever. People probably doing 7-8 servings and they don't even know it.
Oh no! Oh yeah, it's so dense, man. You can go crazy with pasta and you like 400 grams later, Yeah, no. So this guy decided, he said I gave this a shot, but he didn't actually give it a shot. What he did was he mixed a scoop of Gatorade, which is roughly 28 grams of sugar.
It's probably flavored, right?
Yeah. 28 grams of dextrose, most likely, or glucose, with whey, with I don't know how much whey he used, and then EAAs. And then he said, I got no pump from that. That's not very much carbohydrate or food. And he says a week after a week of nothing, he's tried that for a week apparently, I went back to lifting at least 3 hours after I eat. And I usually train AM fasted. Okay, so pump after first set like usual. So when he went back to not doing the carbs and his mix of whatever he was doing, he's training fasted, more fasted, he was getting a pump, okay, like usual. He says, what could be going on here? I do eat dinner late in the evening, 7 to 8 p.m., and lift around 3 a.m., so I'm never really truly fasted. And that's kind of fast. But I assume that the quick digested carbs would give me something. Do I just digest foods like a Sarlacc? No. I think what we got going on here is either he didn't eat enough or he's completely carbohydrate intolerant.
Yeah. The other thing is, how long after he ate the Captain Crunch, Gatorade, whey, EAA mix did he train?
No, see, he didn't eat the Captain Crunch. All he did was take the Gatorade and the whey, and then he thought that was similar to the Captain Crunch and UMP.
I think it's going to be a completely different experience with food as opposed to Gatorade. I mean, for me, I don't know if Gatorade's going to give me a crazy pump either. I think it's just going to make sure I'm hydrating, my blood sugar doesn't drop.
See, that's the problem with Gatorade. It's such a quick release.
Right.
That you almost have to drink that intra-workout, because if you drink it pre-workout, you'll just drop blood sugars, go flat, and then no pump for sure, if you're carbohydrate sensitive.
The other thing is, these are just things I'm thinking of with his first original no pump, his mix of stuff, and then didn't get a pump was, maybe that volume of shit in his stomach was drawing all the blood to his stomach, and then his muscles were getting nothing. Whereas when he's fasted or he feels that he's fasted, really it's actually 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. he probably, his body's going to force the blood more where it needs to go, which is it's not being distracted by that. So, he's fasting. He's feeling like he's getting a better pump because it's, quote, fasting, not eating. But really, it's probably just because there's no blood going to his stomach, so he's getting more blood to his muscles. And that doesn't necessarily mean his pump is better, because if he were to eat like the Captain Crunch mix and wait a good hour or so and then try it again, I would say he probably would notice a difference. That's just my.
He could.
Maybe he's completely intolerant, like you said.
Yeah, that's what my coach brain is going to. My coach brain is telling me that this guy will thrive with proteins and fats and not so much with carbs at all, really.
Okay.
That's just, I mean, I don't have a lot of information going by.
Dude,
but
you got way more experience with these kind of scenarios
well,
than
that's
I do.
the thing.
This is a total coaching bodybuilding question.
For sure it is. For sure. That's why I find it fun. But it's like with the information given, that's the immediate thing the conclusion that I jump to, because this is just kind of the thing I've seen before. Plus, think about it. I don't know what he's eating for dinner, but between 8 p.m. and 3 a.m., there's a lot of digestion going around, just like the doc said. Blood is so slowly going away from the stomach and into the venous system, arterial system, and carrying that nutrition from his last meal. So it could another thing be where he just has a very slow metabolism. Also, that could be another thing. Which would make sense with him being carbohydrate intolerant, right?
Right.
But also, he's waking up fasted, fasted for him, training and getting a pump after his first set. That is a great sign that his body is using fatty acids for fuel very efficiently. Yeah, very efficiently. So yeah, I don't know what he's eating for dinner. I don't know what it would be, but between 8 p.m. and 3 a.m. doesn't really quite matter what you had for dinner the night before, because you're still in a semi-fasted state where your body is pumping out more fatty acids and using more fatty acids rather than glucose or anything. So that's just,
I like it. I got nothing else.
That's just what I'm thinking. That's just with the information given, that's what I'm going with. But yeah, if that's the case, man, just try before your workout, peanut butter and whey isolate. Done. I bet you'll have a good pump.
Sounds like it. Like it. Yeah. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I mean, that sounds good to me. There's no medical science really in that one. That's a coaching field.
Straight up
coaching. That's an experience thing.
Yeah.
So, I think that's the last one. And I'm going to ask a really dumb question. Yes, I am a doctor. But what the fuck is a Sarlacc?
From Star Wars.
Did he spell something wrong?
No. It's from Star Wars. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's from Return of the Jedi. When they all fall down that pit, they go in the do you remember Return of the Jedi when they go into the desert and they have that big fight there and people are falling into that hole in the ground, which is a mouth?
I don't. I'm fucking old.
Oh my God. I'm old too. I remember that shit. I saw that when I was like 9.
I think I saw it when I was like 7, but no, probably like 4. I mean, whenever because wait, you saw it when you were 9?
Yeah. I think so.
It was. So I must have been like 12. I must have been like 13 then.
Yeah. So it was already. You were already too cool, right? You were like, hey,
I watched all the early ones.
You're like, I'm not a kid no more. I'm a teenager. I'm looking for vagina now. All right, not Star Wars.
No. I think I'm just getting old. I can't remember that shit.
I bet if you saw it, I'll send you a picture. I bet you'd remember it. I bet you would.
You're probably right. Yeah. Anyway, I was about to Google that because I'm thinking it's a medication or something. I didn't want to be like put on the spot. Like
at first, I thought it said Similac.
Dr. Ogden, what's a good dose of Sarlacc? Heard of that one? That's a new one. Anyway,
Doc, Google the Sarlacc pit. Sarla, and you'll. All the images on Google will come up, and you'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I remember that from Return of the Jedi."
Yeah, I'll do that. Oh man!
All right, Doc. Anyway, what do you got going on now? Sunday morning. It's still not even 10 a.m. What's going on now?
I'm gonna walk these dogs, and then I'm gonna get something to eat, and then
try to train.
Gonna head to the gym.
All right. You. This is how many days back now?
This will be my 4th session.
Okay, so your fourth workout back.
Monday was horrible. Tuesday I worked. Wednesday was better. Mm-hmm. Thursday was pretty good. I worked last night, and Friday was pretty good. And today I think I'm going to feel like myself because I can just tell.
Yeah, I think your nutrition has been built back up at this point, and you're going to have a good workout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget your metformin, right?
Yeah, I got to get on that. And the other thing is, I got to get back on that, especially with the white shit.
Yes.
All right, my brother. And
all right, Doc.
listen, I got one more thing to say. I appreciate everyone who messaged me, reached out to me. You know, I mean, I got a call from England.
That's fucking cool, man.
Because we have this show, and it's. I don't want to get emotional, but bro, like,
it means a lot. I'm sure it means a lot, right?
I appreciate you all, everybody, and try to keep this thing rolling without dying.
Yeah.
And, I appreciate you too, bro. I'm sad I didn't get to hug you.
I know. Soon.
Hey, we'll make it happen.
Oh,
We'll make it happen.
Here's
anyway,
the deal, man. You know it. Firsthand, life is too short, man. You got to just do stuff. You really do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyway, that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna have some fun.
Good for you, Doc. Hey, on that note, the doctors are out.
Later.